Barbarian is the story of Tess Marshall, who's got an upcoming job interview in Detroit, Michigan. The night before, she books a stay at an Airbnb, but to her surprise, she finds out that someone else is already staying there as well. This person is named Keith and is played by Bill Skarsgard. Out of options and in a horrid part of Detroit, Michigan, Keith offers to let Tess stay at the house for the night. Tess agrees, they hit it off, they have an excellent night. However, they make a shocking discovery about what's in the basement and the history of this home. And we've got our movie. If I have to give you a one-sentence summary of how I felt about this movie, I would say that it's one of the strangest movies I've seen in a long time, and it's gonna make your stomach churn. But let me start off with what I really enjoyed about this film. I don't talk about this a lot in my reviews, but I have to say the lighting and the sound was tremendous in this film, especially when it came to the horror aspects and getting you to feel something. I don't know if it was the theater I was in, I don't know if it was the sound engineering of the movie, but there were several times when I honestly thought people were walking behind me, or there were people talking, or there were raindrops falling from the sky at several points, and I was like, wow, this movie really makes me feel immersed in what's going on. And one of the most effective methods you can use in horror to help elevate your audience and get them to shrill a little bit is by using sound effectively, and I think this movie really used that to the nth degree. The creaks, the groans, the moans, the subtle background noises that you can hear really make a difference, and I would actually love to watch this movie with headphones on, because wow, you really get the full effect when it comes to that sound. And the lighting as well. The one thing I noticed about this film is that it uses different shades of yellow and even white at various points and at different parts of each room. For example, you've got this dimly lit, white up lit room. On the other side, you've got this yellow, creepy looking lit room. And then right in the middle, you've got a long, dark hallway. In horror, that's just really effective when you change up the lighting scheme like that. And it really makes it interesting. It's that fear of the unknown and the fear that you don't know what these characters are going to experience next that really helps elevate the scares and really makes this a horror film, which I've kind of gone back and forth on myself as to if this movie is a horror or a thriller film. If you would ask me yesterday, I would have said thriller. However, I've changed my mind. I believe this is a full-fledged horror film and one that horror fans will come to love and appreciate. Additionally, I thought Justin Long and Georgina Campbell were pretty great as leads in this movie. I know I mentioned Bill Skarsgard having a starring role in this film. However, he's not in the film nearly as much as Georgina Campbell and Justin Long are. And I would say that Justin Long and Georgina Campbell are the two standout performers, especially Georgina Campbell. I thought they really sold this movie. They really lent into their characters, and Georgina Campbell really sold the fact that she was terrified out of her mind, which great performances in a film never hurt anybody. Georgina Campbell gives a great one here, and it really helps elevate the experience. Bill Skarsgard, I think he had his moments. However, I thought his performance was pretty inconsistent and pretty choppy at a lot of points. Of course, I'm a huge fan of his work in It. I just didn't think he brought it all here in Barbarian. And additionally, I thought that Barbarian offered one of the most unique and distinct horror experiences I've seen in a really long time. I want to keep it vague to keep you guys going in as cold as possible into the movie, but when you make the discovery of what's going on in this house, it's nothing like I've ever seen in movies before. And I think that the horror genre has been a little bit lacking in recent years. For this film to come out with something fresh, something new, something novel, for you horror fans out there, I think it's really going to satisfy you. For you non-horror fans, well, you're in certainly for something different and something very obscure and something you probably won't soon forget, which is kind of a half pro in this case, which is the fact that this film is definitely an experience that you won't soon forget if you watch it, whether if it's for better or for worse. Now let me talk about what I didn't like so much about Barbarian. I thought the pacing was really bizarre. I think this film actually restarted at like 3 different points. First, you get the story of Tess and Keith, then you jump over to Justin Long's character, then you get the story of another character, and when the movie restarts like that and with a short runtime like this, it leaves very little time for the resolution and little time for the payoff. I felt like the film just had way too much buildup. I would say that in about an hour of it, maybe even a little bit more, is all buildup, and the last maybe 25 minutes is the resolution and the falling action. And that really kind of just threw off the cadence, because you start to think you're getting going in the story, you're starting to think you're starting to build up and learn what's happening, and then boom, you're back to square one. And then the process repeats again and again, and it can just be a little bit jarring and a little bit exasperating. After a while, I kind of found myself thinking, at least to a little bit of a degree, come on, let's get to the point here. Which I guess is kind of 2 cons into one. One being the pacing bizarre, 2 is the fact that a lot of this is buildup that just starts over again. And because of that, this hour and 48 minute film felt like it dragged a little bit, and it just felt a lot longer than an hour and 48 minutes. Also, I thought that some of the plot lines that were introduced ended up being pretty pointless, which in turn led to wasted screen time. I think a runtime of about 1 hour 35, 1 hour 30 minutes would have been more appropriate for this movie, because some of the plot lines, they either go unanswered, they go unmeaningful. Certain elements are introduced about some of these characters, they really don't talk about them much ever again throughout the film, and it's just kind of like, why even go there? Again, keeping it vague because I don't do spoilers on this channel, but when you see the movie, hopefully you'll kind of see what I'm talking about. So for my overall score, I'm gonna give this movie a 6 out of 10. I think I'll remember this one distinctly for the shock value, but I just didn't think it was all that great of a film. My overall recommendation, if you are a die-hard horror fan, go and see this movie. I think you'll eat it up. I don't think this is gonna be a great experience for general moviegoers, especially if you're looking for more of that mainstream horror, like from The Conjuring, from Annabelle, or from Paranormal Activity, or the likes of Insidious. You might walked out a little bit disturbed and a little bit jarred. I talked to one gentleman when I left the theater, and the way he put it was, yeah, that was pretty messed up, and I happen to agree with them. Friends, thank you so much for watching. If you found this helpful or valuable, I'd be honored if you consider clicking the like button so people just like you are able to find it. Or if you like videos just like these, feel free to subscribe, click these icon cards up above, or the links down in the description below for your viewing pleasure. Once again, I've been Bryson. Until next time, have a great day.